What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to do a little something different. I'm going to tell you my specific experience of how I went from making $50 a day after taxes to making over $200 a day with no degree and no experience. I hope you guys end up watching this before it gets deleted. I've decided to no longer be in this niche because of copyright things that have been happening with these types of videos. YouTube is deeming these types of videos as scam content. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get around that, but I will still continue to do YouTube in other ways that are faceless. Thank you to all who supported this, but copyright strikes on my channel is not something that I want to deal with long term. So that's why in this video, I'm giving you my personal way of how I went from $50 a day to over $200 a day with no experience, no degree. We're going to go over the typical salary ranges for this position, which could be anywhere from $50,000 all the way up to $100,000 and over $100,000. A few years ago, when I was pretty much starting from scratch and learning what I wanted to do in this life, I decided that I wanted to get into sales. I had no previous sales experience and I was working at a liquor store, but I figured that I need to find a job that is going to make me the most amount of money. I ended up going on 3 different interviews. One job never called me back, and so I decided between working for a debt company and working for a roofing company. I started out by being an appointment setter, basically just knocking doors and asking people if they wanted a free roofing estimate. I was making $150 per appointment, and I was one of the top people in the company. At one point, I was almost 10% of the entire office's revenue. I went on to actually do sales, which means I was spending hours in people's houses, giving them roofing quotes, and eventually selling them for anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000. Sales is always good because the more you work and the better you get, the more money you can make. I was easily making checks that were $1,500, especially throughout the summer, and all I was doing was working part-time, less than 25 hours a week to make $1,500 a week. It is very possible to change your life quickly. I ended up changing my entire life pretty much upside down in about 6 months, doing a job that was in sales and just being able to outwork everybody else. And I'll also show you guys some certificates that were awarded to me during a Christmas party for being one of the top people in the company. I was able to generate almost $2 million in a little bit under a year by knocking doors and having other people sell my leads. Eventually, I got back to doing what I wanted to do, which was YouTube, but sales brought on a different discipline and elevated me in a way where I actually had a foundation of work ethic. Now, I want to show you guys how much you can make doing any type of sales job. It doesn't necessarily have to be in something like construction. You can always do something like car sales or medical sales. So let's go on to Indeed and see what type of sales that is actually being offered in the job market. So as we can see, sales is going to have a bunch of different job titles, but you can see here this client sales advisor is making anywhere between $52,000 and $62,000 a year. Okay, and a lot of these, as I said, guys, is going to have no experience required. This trainee sales position is paying almost $5,000 per month. Okay, and that's pretty good money because this is only the trainee. So imagine after you get some experience, you actually get good and maybe even get promoted, you could be making probably $10,000 in this position just being in sales. Okay, another sales representative is 60 to 70,000, and it says hybrid. And depending on the sales job that you get, you can also choose if you want to work full-time or part-time. Okay, another sales job is going up to 85 grand. Okay, and this one actually starts at 100,000. So I've never personally done solar, but I've definitely heard good things about making money with solar. I've also heard good things making money with internet. A pro tip that I want to share with you guys if you actually decide to go into sales is that every no is going to yield a yes eventually. I got so good at my job to where I knew that every 1 in 3 people would actually say yes to me when I got through a proper conversation with them. So if you guys are worried about the amount of no's that you're going to endure, just remember that there's always going to be that house that actually needs your help. That's what always kept me going, and I encourage you guys to persist. When I first started knocking doors, I was getting pushed off property, dogs chasing me off property, and constantly just getting yelled at. And then eventually you turn around a year later and you've made over $1 million. Keep your head up, guys. I hope that all my content has taught you something or helped you in some way. And I wish you luck on this journey of making money.